What's up? I'm Norb.
And I'm Mike.
And we are
the Parking Lot Movie Guys.
And we are going to be reviewing the movie Star Wars The Last Jedi.
The movie is starring Daisy Ridley, John Boyega, Mark Hamill, Carrie Fisher, Adam Driver, Oscar Isaac, and Andy Serkis as Snoke.
Star Wars The Last Jedi picks up where the movie franchise left off. Rey has met Luke on this island, and we discover what happens next as the Order and the Resistance are fighting for power in the universe. This is with spoilers.
Spoiler alert!
If you haven't seen it already, you're probably not going to. We've been Star Wars fans since the first one came out. That movie changed our lives forever.
I can still remember the day I saw it for the first time, and I felt like I was looking through a window at another world that was really happening. Never forget it.
What did you think of the movie?
When the screen starts and it says a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away, a part of me just gets tingly because that does take me back to my childhood. The Star Wars logo kicks in and the music, and then the text starts to scroll, and of course right away I'm thinking, I hope this text is not about some trade dispute.
Then you go at the end of it like, what did I just read?
I don't understand, but actually it was pretty easy to understand this time, and that was good, but it's like you're reading new text. My expectations were really low, and I think because of that, I had a fun time. I definitely have some nits to pick, but I enjoyed it. How about you?
I went into it also with pretty modest expectations, but I really liked it. One of the things I thought that was really well done is the character development. I thought they did a really good job with the relationship, especially between Rey and Kylo Ren, the bond that they shared, and the struggles and the pain. Clearly these are flawed characters. I got pulled into that world.
Luke Skywalker, he always harbors a lot of anger. His anger and his hate that made him powerful. At the beginning of the movie when Rey hands him the lightsaber and it's this big fanfare music, and then he grabs it, takes it slowly, and he chucks it over the back of his shoulder, and I thought, okay, good. This is not going to be typical.
They worked in humor into it, and I thought they did it in a very natural, non-forced kind of way, where it wasn't goofy and cheesy and corny. It was actually, I found myself laughing throughout the movie for moments like that, where it's like, oh, that was funny. I was like, unexpected. I'm chuckling to myself. Fans have been talking about Luke's character. We found him. Now what happens? And what does happen is very different from what's expected.
I liked it, actually. I mean, Luke is struggling, and he questions himself on some mistakes he feels he made. There's heavy debate about, his decision to possibly kill Kylo Ren when he feels that the Force is too dark with him. Many fans feel that Luke would never do that. On the other hand, Luke harbors a lot of anger. He's not perfect. He feels at that moment that he might need to do that because it's the right thing to do to save the universe. Now, he doesn't do it. He just
thinks about it.
Yeah. But then he realizes, I can't do this.
Stops
and that's
himself.
when Kylo Ren wakes up and sees him and attacks him back.
We are
tempted
by the dark side.
Yes.
And I think a lot of those people who are disappointed are those who put Luke on a pedestal, that he's reached some level of perfection and he can't do no wrong. I like the fact that Luke is also struggling. All these characters have some demons inside. I just think it makes it more interesting. Instead of one-dimensionally all good, one-dimensionally all bad, it's a mix of a little bit of good, a little bit of bad. You're not sure which side's going to win out. There is conflict, and I think that's what makes these characters interesting.
The filmmakers, they decide to change rules a little bit, and I think that's a very slippery slope. The scene at the tree. The tree is the place that holds the sacred Jedi texts, and Luke is deciding he wants to burn the tree down, and then he can't do it. So then Yoda shows up, and Yoda decides to help Luke and burn the tree down. Obi-Wan Kenobi says to Luke, when he's gonna go face the Emperor, he says, I cannot intervene.
I cannot interfere.
But if you need help burning down a sacred tree with Jedi texts, I can do that. They basically now said that spiritual Yoda and spiritual Obi-Wan Kenobi, they can actually have powers to interact with the real world, and I don't like that.
We've never seen a ghost do anything physically in the world.
Yeah.
Although Ben did walk through the woods and kind of a tree branch kind of grazed off and it kind of wiggles. So I guess he has some kind of but to actually come in and do things like
burn a tree.
It seems like that's way too much power. And the ghosts come down and help the rebel fleet, take down some walkers. Yoda can be out there, shooting bolts down into, what's stopping him from doing that? Well, that brings us to Princess Leia after she gets blown out of her ship. So she's thrown into deep open space. Forget the fact that the explosion itself should have maybe caused some damage. No protective suit, and all of a sudden she comes back to life. Not only is she surviving this frozen, unsurvivable world of deep space, but she's able to summon the power to use her force pull and pull her back into the ship to safety. That's probably one I had the biggest problem with. Since when did the Force make you invincible to freezing cold, where your skin should just freeze up and turn into porcelain, shatter?
If you loved episode 1, you could just say the midichlorians gave her oxygen.
What are midichlorians?
A microscopic life form that resides within all living cells.
Somehow the midichlorians have rallied up.
Now note, I hate the midichlorians.
And I had to just sort of go,
It's where you just
maybe
go,
it could
okay.
happen. Maybe that's the way the Force works in this world.
I did some reading on that after I saw the film. And
Research?
apparently, a Jedi Master had learned how to survive in space using the Force. Apparently, that was in one novel.
Does that still work if you're unconscious after being blasted out of a ship and you're not
it.
actually conscious of the fact that you have to engage the power? She's not awake, so how does she know to even engage this Force power?
Leia has the Force in her, but she really hasn't chosen to use it or learn it.
She hasn't gone through Force boot camp, so she shouldn't really know how to
And then
do
all of a
much
sudden,
anything.
she has this ability to use something that only
Only
one of the Jedi
guy's
history's ever done.
The final one is the big climactic finale. Back to Luke, where he makes his heroic appearance
As a hologram.
as a method to help the Resistance escape. Once again, it didn't bother me at the time, and I thought the way they set that up was pretty good because they had this whole dynamic between Rey and Kylo Ren communicating with each other via this holographic existence where they felt like they could see each other. They almost were like touching hands. So you're kind of buying slowly into this, okay, the Force works as like FaceTime, but in 3 dimensions. So there's this ability to be in each other's worlds. When Luke shows up and he looks invincible, and then you see the trick in the middle of this battle with Kylo Ren and Luke, and Kylo Ren tries to kill him and he can't kill him because he's just a hologram, you realize, oh, it's that trick. But my biggest problem with that was when he first appears in the Resistance cave, he walks in and he sees Leia and he gives her
The lucky dice that were hanging in the Millennium Falcon.
so he's handing it to her. They have a little embrace, I think, whatever intimate moment. I'm thinking, that's a lot of contact for a hologram. How does that work?
My joke is everyone now can just sit at home on the couch eating Cheetos and do their battling from the couch. They gave R2-D2 rockets, and he's never used them again. My favorite part of the movie was when Rey saw all these mirror images of herself and there was a delay as she was snapping her fingers and moving her hands. I just thought it was really cool. At that point, you'd think she's going to see her parents, but she sees herself.
But what I liked about the opening part where they had that strategic bombing run where they had to get these bombs dropped on the dreadnought and drop it on a very specific spot. I like the fact that it was very clear that you needed to take out the guns in advance and then this bomber had to slowly get over the target and release it. It brought me back to the simplicity of the Star Wars trench run. Find the exhaust port and throw that photon torpedo in there. I like the sequence of how they developed that. I like the simplicity of it. I think that was really cool. Laura Dern's character, she gets this brilliant idea to hyperspace into the ship and basically like cut it in half. You've never seen that before. Basically going super fast, and if you fly into something, maybe it could really destroy something. But I also thought, why did it take this long for somebody to figure out that this was an option? Why wait till the very last second to go, I have an idea. If all else fails and you're out of options, hyperspace into the nearest Star Destroyer.
R2-D2 could set the ship on autopilot and then rocket his way to the other rebel ship for safety.
So now every ship can become this ultimate weapon. Everybody go to light speed and take down that Death Star. It's not a trap.
Well, remember, Admiral Akbar got killed in a very...
I miss Kaizen. Let's get to the 5-finger review. Here we go.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3.
We are in agreement.
Agreement. Wow, look at that.
4 fingers.
Yes. Probably the best way to rate a Star Wars movie now is to rank them in orders. Number 1,
Empire Strikes
Back. Number 2,
New
A New Hope. Number 3, Episode 8. Last Jedi.
4, Return of the Jedi.
Return of the Jedi. Number 5,
Rogue One.
6,
6, Episode 7.
The Force Awakens.
And then there's some others that are just
other 3 movies that
down there somewhere.
are always going to be at the bottom. It doesn't matter what order.
So we have a good bonus extra for you tonight. We're going to have to do a little bit of magic
Movie
again.
magic.
So on 3, let's snap our fingers and see what happens.
All right.
Ready? 1, 2.
I can't see a thing in this helmet.
No kidding. No wonder we can't shoot anything. What do you think about the new Star Wars movie?
My frustration is nobody looks like this anymore. They got this new streamlined helmet and we're still stuck wearing this old crap from 1977.
I know, right? I actually don't like the new helmets. I think they should have stuck with this design. This is the coolest helmet in the entire universe.
Did you like the movie?
I thought it was okay. They needed more stormtrooper battles in there.
Yeah, they could have used that.
We tried to see it in 3D, but I had some problems putting the goggles on.
Do you like my red sweater? I got it from the Imperial store. It was on sale.
I got this from the Imperial store as well. This was on clearance. See that new BT-16?
Yeah, they say it's great. Let me see his identification.
We don't need to see his identification, I guess. He's not the droids we're looking for. Move along. Move along.
Well, thanks for watching our review of The Last Jedi. Click the subscribe button right down there.
Watch for our next episode, and we'll catch you at the movies next time. I'm Norb.
I'm Mike.
And we are the Parking Lot Movie Guys. I really do like that shirt, though. It really goes well with the helmet.
It's a sweater, not a shirt.
The sweater.
Thank you.
Excuse me.